Hashtag the Great Hall of the Galactic Concordium. Hashtag Part 1. The Great Hall of the Galactic Concordium shone with cold blue light. It floated in the silence near a dying star called Vorniskel. Inside the hall, 823 alien species sat in rings of polished obsidian. Some had fur, some had feathers, some existed as patterns of electricity inside crystal cages. They had ruled the galaxy together for 60,000 years. Tonight, they were afraid. Arbiter the Los Vin stood at the center of the hall. He was a Karathi, tall and thin, his skin the color of dried blood. His forearms hung motionless at his sides. His single yellow eye glowed as he spoke. "Honored members of the Concordium," he said, his voice a low hum that vibrated through the floor. 9 months ago, our deep space probes discovered a new species. They inhabit a small blue world designated as CR 779. Their star is unremarkable. Their technology is primitive. We have classified them as Tier 6 developing. A murmur rippled through the hall. Tier 6 meant a species had barely learned to leave its own atmosphere. Weak, simple, harmless. The Ithari Collective requests permission from this council, Arbiter Vin continued, to claim CR 779. Their planet contains mineral deposits we require for our shipyards. The natives will be relocated to comfortable habitats. They will receive education. They will learn our ways. In exchange, we take what we need. Many council members nodded. This was the way of things. Strong species guided weak ones. Order was maintained. The galaxy functioned. But one voice broke the silence. No. All eyes turned. A small figure rose from her seat near the back of the hall. She was a Meridian, barely 4 feet tall, her body covered in soft gray fur, her face dominated by 2 enormous dark eyes. Her name was Dr. Ilara Vin, no relation to the Arbiter. She was the chief xenobiologist of the Concordium. She had studied more species than any living being. "Dr. Vin," Arbiter the Los said, his eye narrowing. "This is a routine matter. The Ithari request is." "The humans are not routine," Ilara said. Her voice was soft, but it carried. "I must share my findings before this vote proceeds." A heavy silence fell. The Arbiter's jaw tightened. "Speak." The hall lights dimmed. A holographic screen materialized in the air above the central floor. Charts, numbers, images of small, fragile-looking creatures with soft skin and curious eyes. "These are the physical readings of the human body," Dr. Vin said, pointing with a trembling finger. "Muscle density, bone hardness, lung capacity, neural response time under extreme stress. Look at the numbers." The council looked. Some gasped. Some leaned forward in their seats. The numbers were impossible. "Every sentient species in this galaxy follows a biological rule," Ilara continued. "Strength comes at the cost of intelligence. Speed comes at the cost of durability. Big bodies are slow thinkers. Small bodies are fragile. This is the law of life." She paused. "Humans break every rule." The screen shifted. It showed a human male lifting a massive weight. Beside him, a Ithari warrior, 3 times larger, covered in natural armor, struggled with the same weight. The human lifted more. "A full-grown human can run for 18 hours without stopping," Dr. Vin said. "No other sentient species can do this. Their muscles generate heat that should cook their internal organs. But their skin sweats water to cool them down. They can chase prey for 2 days until the animal collapses from exhaustion. They call this persistence hunting." The hall was silent now. Not even breathing could be heard. "Their bones are 4 times harder than Meridian bones," she continued. "Their grip strength can crush Karathi skulls. They heal from wounds that would kill most species within a week. Their eyes perceive colors we cannot imagine. Their ears detect frequencies we cannot measure." Arbiter the Los made a sound, something between a laugh and a cough. "Dr. Vin, this is interesting. But physical strength means nothing against plasma cannons. We have ships that cross the galaxy in days. They have rockets that barely reach their own moon. Why does it matter if they can run for a long time?" Many council members nodded. The Arbiter had a point. What were strong muscles against orbital bombardment? Dr. Vin was not finished. "There is more," she said quietly. "I have studied the evolutionary history of every species in this council. We are all apex predators. We all descend from creatures that sat at the top of our food chains. The Karathi evolved from great desert hunters. The Meridians evolved from forest stalkers. The Ithri evolved from swarm killers. Every single species here evolved as something that killed other things. She took a breath. Humans did not. The silence that followed was different. It was the silence of confusion. Humans evolved as prey, Dr. Venn said. Their home world was filled with creatures that hunted them. Great cats, giant bears, wolves, snakes. For millions of years, humans ran from things that wanted to eat them. They had no claws, no fangs, no venom, no armor. They were slow. They were soft. They were food. She looked around the hall, her dark eyes sweeping across 823 delegations. And yet today, they own their planet. They hunted most of those predators to extinction. They built cities that touched the clouds. They flew to their moon. They did all of this in less than 10,000 years. A blink in evolutionary time. The arbiter shifted in his seat. Your point, Doctor? My point, Alara said, is that humans are the only sentient species in the known galaxy that evolved as prey and learned to fight back. They are not predators who became smart. They are food that refused to be eaten. And they do not know what this means. She turned to face the full council. In my report, I have written a warning. I ask every member here to read it before you vote. Humans do not know their own strength. They look at themselves and see weakness. They see failure. They see fragile bodies and short lives. But their biology tells a different story. They are walking weapons who believe they are sheep. A soft voice came from the Ithri delegation. And if we wake them up? Dr. Vin's dark eyes grew darker. Then we may spend the rest of our existence regretting it. The vote was held 2 hours later. 611 species voted in favor of the Ithri claim. 201 species abstained. Only 11 species voted against. Dr. Alara Venn was one of the 11. Arbiter the Low smiled as the results appeared. The Ithri Collective thanks this council. CR 779 will be pacified within 1 month. The humans will not even know what is coming. As the council disbanded, Dr. Venn walked alone to her small observation vessel. She carried her data disks in a satchel against her chest. She stopped at the viewing dome and looked up at the stars. Somewhere out there, a blue planet spun around a small yellow sun. Children played in fields. Old people sat on porches. Lovers held hands. None of them knew that 200 Ithri warships were already moving through the dark. None of them knew what they were. May the old gods forgive us, Dr. Venn whispered to the cold glass. We have just woken something that should have been left sleeping. She did not know that on that blue planet, in a small house in a small town, a woman named Sanaa Yusuf was tucking her daughter into bed. The daughter was 7 years old. Her name was Layla. She had dark hair and bright eyes and a small scar on her chin from falling off a bicycle. Tell me a story, Mama, Layla said. Sanaa smiled. What kind of story? A story about monsters, Layla said. And how to fight them. Sanaa kissed her daughter's forehead. All right, little one. But you must promise to go to sleep after. I promise. Sanaa sat on the edge of the bed and began to speak. She did not know that 200 warships were 3 weeks away. She did not know that her daughter would one day be the reason the entire galaxy changed its name for her species. She only knew that Layla liked stories about monsters. Once upon a time, Sanaa said, there was a little girl who was not afraid of anything. And the monsters learned to fear her. Layla smiled, closed her eyes, and dreamed of things that had not happened yet. But they would. Soon. Hashtag the Great Hall of the Galactic Concordium. Hashtag Part 2. 3 weeks later, the Ithri fleet entered the Sol system. 200 warships. Plasma cannons. Star-burning weapons. Silent as death. Their commander, Grand Admiral Vexer Thun, sat on his command throne and watched the blue planet grow larger on his main screen. Prepare the announcement, he said, his mandibles clicking with satisfaction. Tell the humans to surrender. Give them 12 hours. His communications officer hesitated. Admiral, we are receiving unusual signals from the planet's surface. Unusual how? They are arguing, sir. Their global communication networks are filled with debate. Some humans want to surrender. Some want to fight. Some want to negotiate. Some are blaming each other for the invasion. Grand Admiral Thun laughed. It was a wet, guttural sound. A divided species. Perfect. They will break themselves before we fire a single shot. But his science officer, a young Ithri named Krell, was not laughing. He stared at his screens with growing unease. Sir, Krell said quietly, I have been analyzing human historical records. Their communication networks are public. I can read everything they say to each other. And they have been fighting each other for their entire existence. Wars, genocides, terror. They have killed more of their own kind than any species in recorded history. But each time, they stop fighting each other when an outside threat appears. Thun waved a clawed hand. So, sir, they have stopped. The arguing you saw? It ended 4 hours ago. Every human government is now agreeing on one thing. What thing? Krell swallowed. That we need to die. Before Thun could respond, alarms blazed across the bridge. The sensor officer screamed, "Admiral, incoming objects." Thousands of them, moving fast. They came from behind the third planet. Thun spun to his tactical display. Small objects. Hundreds of them. Thousands. They were not military vessels. They were not anything the Ithari had seen before. They were commercial spacecraft, mining ships, passenger transports, cargo haulers, even private yachts. Every human ship that could fly had been stripped of anything non-essential and packed with explosives. And they were coming straight at the Ithari fleet. What are they doing? Thun whispered. Krell's voice was hollow. They are ramming us, sir. They are using their civilian ships as weapons. The first wave hit. A cargo ship twice the size of an Ithari cruiser slammed into the lead warship. Both vessels exploded. The human ship had no shields, no armor, no weapons. But it had mass and velocity and a pilot who did not plan to miss. All ships fire, Thun roared. Destroy them all. The Ithari fleet opened fire. Plasma cut through the small human ships like knives through paper. Dozens exploded. Hundreds. But there were more. Always more. And the human ships were not trying to survive. They were only trying to hit something before they died. On the bridge of a small passenger shuttle, a woman named Captain Sanaa Yusuf gripped her controls. Her daughter Layla was safe on Earth. She had said goodbye that morning. She had not cried until Layla could not see her. "Mama, where are you going?" Layla had asked. "To fight the monsters, little one. You promised to come back." Sanaa had kissed her daughter's forehead. "I know." Now she flew straight at the nearest Ithari warship. Her shuttle carried 3 tons of mining explosives. Her engines were pushed past every safety limit. Her hands were steady. Behind her, her co-pilot whispered a prayer in a language she did not recognize. "Hold on," Sanaa said. "We are going to show them what happens when you come for our children." She did not look at the Ithari plasma cannons aiming at her. She did not flinch when the first shot melted her left engine. She kept her eyes on the warship's bridge windows. She wanted to see their faces. The shuttle hit at full speed. The explosion was brief and bright and final. Grand Admiral Thun watched the debris field spread across his screens. He had lost 12 ships in the first wave. 19 more were damaged. And the humans were not done. "They are still coming, sir," Krell said. His voice shook. "They have more ships. They are launching from every continent. They are not stopping." Thun stared at the blue planet below. It looked so peaceful from here. So fragile. "Get me the Concordium," he said quietly. "Tell them we need reinforcements." But deep in the forests of Earth, in the cities and villages, in the military bases and farms, a species was waking up. And once it woke up, it would never go back to sleep. The Ithari had come for a weak, divided world. They had found something else. # the Great Hall of the Galactic Concordium. # Part 3. Grand Admiral Vexer Thun had invaded 11 worlds in his long career. He had never seen anything like this. The human suicide attacks continued for 6 hours. By the time the last civilian ship had been destroyed, the Ithari fleet had lost 43 warships. 57 more were damaged. Nearly 10,000 Ithari soldiers were dead, and the humans had not surrendered. "They are landing on the 4th planet," Krell said, his voice hollow. "The one they call Mars. They are building something." "Building what?" "We cannot see. Their construction is hidden inside the rocks. But our sensors detect energy signatures. Weapons. Many weapons." Thun slammed his fist against his command console. "They are primitives. They should be begging for mercy. Instead, they are building weapons in caves." "Sir," Krell said slowly, "I do not think they are primitives. I think we made a terrible mistake." On the surface of Mars, inside a cavern carved by human hands, a woman named Dr. Amira Hassan worked without sleep. She was a physicist. Before the invasion, she had studied particle acceleration. Now she was building something else. "How long?" asked General Marcus Webb. A soldier with gray hair and dead eyes. 12 hours, Amira said. Maybe less. The fleet will be in orbit above Earth by then. I know. General Webb watched the woman work. Her hands were steady. Her face was calm. She had not eaten in 2 days. She had not slept in 3. Amira, he said quietly, what are we building? She looked up. Her eyes were red but focused. The Ithri have plasma weapons. They have shields. They have ships that cross the galaxy. We cannot match any of that. Then what can we do? Amira smiled. It was not a kind smile. We can cheat. She held up a small device. It looked like nothing special, a metal cylinder with wires and circuits exposed. This is a gravitational resonator, she said. It does not destroy ships. It does not kill soldiers. It does one thing only. It makes a ship's artificial gravity fail. Not turn off. Fail. Catastrophically. The gravity field collapses inward. Every Ithri ship runs on controlled gravity. Without it, they tear themselves apart from the inside. General Webb stared at the small cylinder. How many can you build? In 12 hours? 200. One for each of their ships. Will it work? Amira's smile did not change. We are about to find out. 12 hours later, the Ithri fleet moved into orbit above Earth. Grand Admiral Thun looked down at the blue planet and felt something he had never felt before. Fear. They are not surrendering, Krell said. Their communications are still active. They are laughing. Laughing? Yes, sir. They are telling each other jokes. Singing songs. Some of them are praying. But none of them are surrendering. Thun opened his mouth to order the final bombardment. He never got the chance. Every Ithri ship in the fleet suddenly screamed. Alarms. Red lights. Emergency protocols. The artificial gravity in every vessel fluctuated wildly. Then it collapsed. Then it reversed. Then it tore holes through deck plating, through bulkheads, through Ithri soldiers. What is happening? Thun screamed as his own body was slammed against the ceiling, then the floor, then the wall. The gravity, Krell shouted, blood running from his mandibles. Something is disrupting our gravity cores. They are overloading. On the bridge of the Ithri flagship, systems exploded. Plasma conduits ruptured. The main view screen cracked and went dark. Thun felt his ship lurch sideways as the engines failed. We are losing power. All ships are losing power. Krell cried. Thun pulled himself to the tactical display. It was chaos. His fleet was breaking apart. Ships collided with each other as their navigation systems failed. Cruisers fell toward Earth's atmosphere. Destroyers exploded in balls of fire and debris. Give me a damage report. Thun roared. But there was no report. There was only screaming. And fire. And the terrible sound of 200 warships dying at once. On the surface of Earth, Dr. Amira Hassan watched the sky. She saw the bright streaks of falling Ithri ships. She heard the distant thunder of their explosions. She did not cheer. She did not smile. She simply sat down on the red Martian sand and cried. We did it, General Webb said, standing over her. We beat them. Amira shook her head. No, we survived them. Beating them comes next. General Webb looked up at the burning sky. What do you mean? They came to take our home, Amira said quietly. They killed our people. They destroyed our ships. Now they know we can fight back. But they also know where we live. Do you think they will leave us alone? The general was silent. We need to send a message, Amira said. Not to the Ithri. To everyone. To every species in the galaxy who might think Earth looks like easy prey. What kind of message? Amira stood up. Her legs shook. Her hands trembled. But her voice was steady. We need to show them what we are. All of it. The good and the terrible. Our wars and our peace. Our hatred and our love. Every song. Every book. Every scream. Every laugh. We need to show them everything and then say one thing. What thing? Amira looked at the stars. Somewhere out there, the Concordium was watching. The Ithri were regrouping. 823 alien species were deciding what to do about the strange, violent, terrifying creatures from the blue planet. We need to say, Amira whispered, that we are not prey. We never were. And if they come back, we will not just defend. We will hunt. General Webb nodded slowly. When do we start? Amira wiped her tears. Her smile returned, small, sharp, and very human. Right now. Hashtag the Great Hall of the Galactic Concordium. Hashtag Part 4. Dr. Alara Vin could not sleep. She sat alone in her small observation vessel, watching the data streams from Earth. The Ithri fleet was gone. Destroyed. 200 warships reduced to scrap and ash. 20,000 Ithri soldiers dead or captured. And the humans had done it with cargo ships and a device no species in the Concordium had ever imagined. They call it the resonator, Elara whispered into her recorder. It weaponizes gravity. Not as a projectile, not as a beam, as a concept. They found a way to make the laws of physics betray us. Every species in the galaxy uses artificial gravity. Every ship, every station, every city. If the humans can build more of these devices. She stopped recording. Her hands were shaking. A knock at her door. She opened it to find a young Ithri science officer. He looked exhausted. His mandibles were cracked from stress. Dr. Venn, he said. My name is Krell. I served under Grand Admiral Thun. I survived because my ship's gravity core failed in a way that did not kill me. The humans pulled me from the wreckage. Elara stared at him. Why are you here? Because the humans let me go. They gave me a message for the Concordium. A single sentence. What sentence? Krell's eyes were hollow. They said, we know you can hear us. We know you voted to take our world. This is your only warning. Elara felt cold spread through her chest. A warning for what? Krell shook his head. They did not say. That is what frightens me. They did not make demands. They did not ask for surrender. They simply said, this is your only warning. And then they put me on a damaged shuttle and pointed it toward the edge of their system. He paused. Dr. Venn, I have studied their history. When humans give warnings, they do not repeat themselves. Elara turned back to her screens. The data from Earth was changing. The human governments were no longer arguing. They were united. And they were building. Not ships. Not weapons. Something else. Krell, she said slowly. What do you know about human communication networks? Only what I observed during the invasion. They are primitive but extensive. Every human carries a small device that connects them to every other human. Yes, and every human can send messages to every other human instantly. No delay, no filter. Every voice can be heard by every ear. Krell tilted his head. That is chaos. No species could function like that. Elara pointed at her screen. And yet they do. Look at this. In the past 6 hours, every human on Earth has been given access to our captured communication satellites. The ones we use to talk to the Concordium. Krell's eyes widened. They cannot. Those satellites are encrypted with military-grade codes. They would need centuries to. The humans did it in 6 hours, Krell. They are not decrypting our codes. They are building their own network on top of ours. They are using our own satellites to send messages to each other. And to us. She pulled up a feed. It showed a human face. A woman. Dark hair. Bright eyes. A small scar on her chin. She looked young. Maybe 20 years old. Her name appeared on the screen, Layla Yusuf. People of Earth, the woman said. Her voice was calm. Steady. My name is Layla. My mother flew a shuttle into an alien warship 3 days ago. She did not come back. Elara leaned closer. I am not a soldier, Layla continued. I am not a leader. I am just a girl who lost her mother. But I have been reading the alien data we captured. I have been learning about the Concordium. About the 823 species who voted to take our planet. About the ones who voted to destroy us. Her eyes hardened. They think we are weak. They think we are primitive. They think they understand us because they read our history and saw our wars. But they did not see what happened after the wars. They did not see us rebuild. They did not see us forgive. They did not see us become something new. Layla Yusuf leaned closer to the camera. So here is my message to the Concordium. You have one chance. 1. Send your ambassadors to Earth. Not your soldiers. Your ambassadors. Come and see us. Talk to us. Learn who we really are. Because if you send your fleets again. She smiled. It was her mother's smile. We will show you why every predator on our planet is extinct. The transmission ended. Dr. Elara Venn sat in silence. Krell stood frozen beside her. They are children, Krell whispered. She is a child. How can a child speak to the galaxy like that? Elara closed her eyes. That is what I have been trying to tell everyone. That is what no one wanted to hear. She opened her eyes and looked at the stars. Humans are not predators. They are not prey. They are something we have never seen before. They are prey that became predators that became something else entirely. And they are still becoming. Krell's voice was barely audible. What do we do? Elara picked up her recorder. She began to speak. Message to the Concordium Council. This is Dr. Elara Venn. I am transmitting from the edge of the Sol system. The humans have defeated the Ithri fleet. They have built a weapon that threatens every ship in the galaxy. And now they are asking for peace. She paused. I recommend we give it to them. Not because they are weak. Because I am afraid of what happens if we do not. She sent the message. Then she waited. Somewhere on Earth, a young woman named Layla Yusuf stood on a hill and watched the sun rise. She did not know if the aliens would listen. She did not know if her message would be received. But she knew one thing. Her mother had not died for nothing. Hashtag the Great Hall of the Galactic Concordium. Hashtag Part 5. The Concordium's response came 7 days later. Not warships. Not threats. A single vessel, small and unarmed, carrying 3 beings. Arbiter the Los Vin, Dr. Alara Vin, and a Ithri scientist named Krell. They landed in a field of green grass on a warm Tuesday morning. The sky was blue. The air smelled of flowers and rain. Children watched from behind a fence, their eyes wide. Layla Yusuf waited for them alone. You are young, Arbiter the Los said, stepping onto Earth's soil for the first time. His single yellow eye studied her. Younger than I expected. I am 20 years old, Layla said. Old enough to bury my mother. Old enough to speak for my species. You speak for all humans? No. I speak for the ones who are tired of running. Alara stepped forward. Her gray fur bristled with nerves. Layla, I watched your message. Every species in the galaxy watched your message. Do you understand what you asked for? I asked for peace. You threatened us. Layla smiled. I promised you a choice. There is a difference. Krell spoke for the first time. His voice was cracked and raw. I watched your people die. I watched my people die. I watched ships fall from the sky. What do you want from us? Layla looked at each of them. Then she looked past them, at the children behind the fence, at the mothers holding babies, at the old men leaning on canes. I want you to see us, she said. Really see us. Not as data. Not as a threat. Not as prey or predators. As people. We have art and music and poetry. We have love and grief and hope. We have spent our entire existence killing each other and then finding ways to forgive. We are not perfect. We are not safe. But we are not your enemy unless you make us one. Alara's dark eyes filled with tears. The council will not accept this. They are afraid of you. Good, Layla said. Fear is the beginning of respect. Now let us show them the rest. She led them into a small building nearby. Inside, a table held food and water. Simple things. Bread and cheese and fruit. Hospitality. Sit, Layla said. Eat. Then we will talk. The 3 aliens sat. They ate. They talked. For 6 hours, they spoke about everything. Human history. Alien history. The wars. The losses. The small moments of kindness that kept both species alive. When the sun set, Arbiter the Los stood. His single eye was different now. Softer. I came here expecting to negotiate with a military commander, he said. Instead, I found a girl who offered me bread. Layla shrugged. That is what we do? We break expectations. It is our only real talent. The Los looked at Alara, then at Krell, then back at Layla. I will take your offer to the council. Full diplomatic relations. Exchange of knowledge. Trade. Peace, if you want it. And if we want something else? What else could you want? Layla walked to the window. The stars were coming out. Somewhere up there, 823 species were watching. Waiting. Afraid. I want the truth, she said. I want every species in the galaxy to know what we really are. Not the monsters you imagined. Not the savages you feared. The truth. That we are the ones who survived when we should have died. That we are the ones who fought when we should have run. That we are the ones who still choose kindness even after everything. She turned to face them. Send that truth to your council. Let them decide if they want to know us or fight us. Either way, we will be ready. Alara stepped forward and took Layla's hand. The Meridian's fur was soft. Her touch was warm. I will make sure they know, Alara whispered. I promise. 3 months later, the Concordium voted again. Not on war. On recognition. 412 species voted to establish full diplomatic relations with Earth. 301 voted against. 110 abstained. It was not unanimous. It was not perfect. But it was a beginning. Dr. Alara Vin returned to Earth to live among the humans. Krell became the first Ithri to study at a human university. Arbiter the Los Vin lost his position on the council for supporting peace. He did not care. He opened a small school on Earth where alien and human children learned together. Layla Yusuf never became a leader. She never wanted to. She went back to her small town, her small house, her small life. But every night, she sat on the hill where she had watched the sun rise and looked at the stars. Sometimes she wondered if her mother could see her. Sometimes she thought she heard an answer. On the 5th anniversary of the invasion, a new message went out across the galaxy. Not from a government, not from a military, from Layla Yusuf, sitting on her hill, speaking into a simple recorder. "This is Earth," she said. "We are still here. We are still breathing. We are still learning. If you want to find us, look for the blue planet under the small yellow sun. We will leave the lights on." She smiled. "And if you come in peace, we will save you a seat at the table. If you come in war." She paused. "Well," asked the Ithri how that worked out. The message spread across 823 worlds. Some species laughed. Some species wept. Some species began to prepare for war anyway. But on Earth, a little girl sat in a field of green grass. The sun was warm. The sky was blue. Her mother called her for dinner. She looked up one last time at the stars that now belonged to her species as much as to anyone. She did not know she was terrifying. She did not need to. She smiled, stood up, and ran home. The end. Or perhaps, the beginning.